to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And welcome to the Home Repairs and Solutions Show with your hosts, Mary Pearson and Mark Withers. Home Repairs and Solutions is brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your authorized Amana dealer. And this is their special Christmas show. And here's your hosts, Mark and Mary.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
This is the first time we've had a special Christmas show, I guess. Or this first time we've announced it's a Christmas show.
Yeah.
Because it's the last show before Christmas this year.
It is.
So,
Can you believe it? I mean, golly, Christmas is less than a week.
you know, I don't know. We're always so surprised and it comes the same day every year.
It does.
But we always act like, oh my gosh, it's here.
Well, I know. I mean, it just seems like it's just, a couple of weeks ago that, we were still out doing yard work and
I know.
Going to the lake. Of course, you go to the lake all the time. But,
Every day.
Every day. But, and then this, bam, here it is. It's Christmas.
I know. Well, and I think part of it is because Thanksgiving was later than normal. So the time span between Thanksgiving and Christmas seems really short this time.
It does.
So, I don't know. I finally took a day last week and did some Christmas shopping. Now I got to get it all wrapped up. I'm way behind.
I was looking in the refrigerator out in the garage last night, I think it was, and there's still some stuff left over from Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I think you need to toss that, Mark. I don't think I would eat that at this point.
Oh, no. But it was just stuff we just forgot about because
Yeah.
of being out there, and I just opened the door and I'm like, what's that still doing here,
Well, I guess you could have leftovers for Christmas, but
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't
That's
think-
probably not a
no.
good plan.
No, I don't think I want to do that.
Probably not a good plan.
No,
Yeah.
be spending the Christmas in the
ER.
with food poisoning or something. So,
Yeah. Don't do that. That's
yeah,
not a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So have you got your Christmas all figured out? You gonna stay home or what are you doing?
Yes, we are tomorrow. Matter of fact, we're having Christmas with my dad, and then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. My wife she's on call, so we're
Yeah.
not going anywhere, not going out of town. Then the next Saturday, a week from this coming Saturday, we'll have Christmas with our kids. What ones are going to be there? Part of our kids are going to New York, and it's just one of those typical deals. But so yeah, we're just going to kind of stay around, and if the weather's permitting, this Sunday we'll go to St. Louis and have Christmas with the kids that's not going to be here. And so, yeah, it's just going to be kind of a laid-back Christmas time. I don't know when I'm going to have Christmas with Mom. Hopefully, if the weather don't get bad, they'll come down. And
That'd be great.
so, yeah.
You know, the thing about having Christmas on Wednesday, you kind of have Christmas from 1 week. It kind of makes it longer
Yeah,
because you do
it
things
does.
you have to, especially when you're trying to get everyone together, and then the work thing is kind of an interesting thing to figure out. We're gonna have our offices closed, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday because I got to go home and make pies on Tuesday. So I said, okay, if I'm going to be
Yeah.
off, y'all can be off.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it seems like it just seems like it makes it really long.
It does.
It's in the middle of the week because it's kind of hard to get it all figured out.
Yeah, and then, of course, then you got New Year's, the middle of the next week,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the next couple of weeks are kind of interesting. It's really interesting for businesses, because
is.
especially like us being in the real estate and home building, you got some of your people take off for the whole week, some don't, you just got it's just a big mess.
Well, I
usually.
bet you've never had anyone want to look at a house on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to buy, have you?
Yes, I have.
Really?
I've had people call me or email me wanting to look at houses Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Really? That's surprising.
Midnight at night. It's nothing for an email to pop up. That's serious. Don't happen very often.
Well, that's good.
Sunday mornings. Sundays is my family time. Sunday mornings, and I don't know how many times I've had people call me on 8:00 Sunday morning wanting me to show a house. I'm like, sorry, if you want to wait till afternoon, That's
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
but, we're going to church.
Let me
So-
get through breakfast in church,
church,
and then we
yeah,
can.
yeah, but,
the house will still be there at 1 or 2. Or
But, it's amazing that people think, well, because the stores are open and they're having these huge sales, just like they do, the Black
Right,
Friday thing,
right.
that you're open and going to go show houses at all times of the day or night.
oh my goodness, that's
And there's
interesting.
some agents, believe it or not, that will do it.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
huh? Well,
So, but it don't happen very often. But
I
it
wouldn't think
has.
so. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Well, we do have an interesting guest on the show today. We
Yes,
try
we
to.
do.
We felt like this was a good time of year to bring them back on, and we have J.P. Jones, correct?
That is
With
correct.
Atlas Security with us today. In the past, Sam Blaine has been on, but he had to be out of the office today, and so he told me that you were his absolute number one person to be on the radio in his place. So we're happy to have you with us today.
I'm very happy to be here.
Something about this time of year, unfortunately, home security can be an issue. It seems like oftentimes this time of year, maybe break-ins go up and different things like that. And if you don't have home security and haven't thought about it, unfortunately, you might be thinking about it at some point this time of the year.
That's true. We do receive a lot of phone calls this time of year, people being concerned about the break-ins for the Christmas presents. They tend to know when you're going to be at church at a particular Christmas event, and that is a good time for the intruder to come in and take all your Christmas goodies.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does seem to happen, and that's just something that we have to deal with in today's society.
Yep.
But before we get too far, we already have a caller on the line. We better go to Tom at Christian County. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. I'm sorry to butt in here. I just got a question I need to ask Mark.
Sure.
Okay.
I've heard the ice melt thing. I don't like to use ice melt on concrete because
Right.
of what it does to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that a fertilizer like triple 12, triple 13, or something like that will do the same job, but it won't hurt your concrete. Anything to do that?
I've never had anybody tell me they've used the fertilizer
Me
on the
neither.
concrete. So that'd be something that I'd have to check into because I can't really answer that one way or another. You are exactly right on what ice melts. If you go buy ice melt, you want to be sure and read the bag and make sure it is made to go on concrete, especially new concrete, because we see that so often. It'll cause what they call spalling, where the top layer will just start chipping off, and you got a real mess. But the fertilizer, I don't know. I've never had anybody mention that before.
This guy was telling me about it, said it, and of course it won't hurt your grass like salt will either.
Right? Yep, that'd be a good point. Boy, if that would work, that would be great.
I just thought I'd ask a question.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe one of our listeners will have a good answer to that, and I'll find out. We'll talk about that
Thank
next
you very
week.
much.
That might be real important to know because I think that we're not done with the ice this year.
Oh, I don't think we are.
So this is going to be an issue that comes up later on this year, maybe more than once, maybe even this weekend.
Yeah.
So that would be something good to know what to use besides ice melt on your concrete.
Oh, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
okay.
So,
Good
that's
question.
Yeah, it was.
So we were talking earlier before the show, and you said, and I don't see a lot of news. A lot of times, this time of year, I don't know what's going on in the world because I'm doing other things. But you said so far this year, you really haven't heard of any break-ins like that in the Springfield area as of yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Almost always about this time of year, we'll hear on the news where someone has broken into a home and stolen their Christmas presents, and it's newsworthy. But this year, I have not heard that. We still have a number of calls coming in from people that are concerned about that.
Sure.
When they see all their valuables in one location, it reminds them of how many valuables that they have.
Right.
And how vulnerable they can be. And someone can gather up a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
And especially if you're going to be maybe going out of town for a short period of time, and something we've talked about this before on the show. If you're going to be out of town or go somewhere, don't plaster it all over Facebook and let everyone know when you're going to be gone. That is a bad idea. You can talk about where you went after you got back. There's people who just scour Facebook for that type of information, and a lot of times if they can get on there, they can find out where you live and all that. And I'm leaving at 10 o'clock tomorrow to go to Aunt Sally's in St. Louis for 4 days or something. Okay, they know that you're going to be gone for 4 days, so don't put yourself in a vulnerable position like that. That's one of the things that we've heard that's come up here. in the past where people it's easy to spot you when you do those things. But if you have a security system, I still wouldn't recommend that you do that. But a security system is going to help keep you a little more secure than if you don't have a security system this time of year.
That is correct. Two-prong answer to that is, if I understand correctly, there is now software that is being used by the intruders that they target Facebook and all that social media, and they won't know you personally.
Right.
They'll just use this software to track if you're the type of person that they want to address. And
Yeah.
and so that social media is it's very important to keep that to a minimal because it's not just somebody. They have software going over all of it, trying to pick out who they want to get a hold
Target,
of.
sure.
Right. And also with the security system, it's always a big plus. We believe in layers of protection. Starting at the curb, going all the way to the inner part of the house. And a security system is just a big layer. It's not the cure-all, fix-all, but and we don't have to be Fort Knox. We have to appear that we're harder to break into than our neighbors.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
If 80% of the homes out there do not have security systems, and someone is a criminal of opportunity, and they have no real game plan, they're just driving around looking for places to break into. If you have a security system, there's 8 out of 10 shops that don't have that sign in the yard. That's where they're going to choose first.
Sure, of course. We have another caller holding this morning. We have David with us from Marshfield. Good morning, David.
Good morning. I just wanted to tell that guy that just called that I have spilled fertilizer on concrete before, and it scarred it all up. So I wouldn't use fertilizer.
Oh, it scarred the concrete?
Yeah,
Man.
I'm just sitting here reading just now on the internet about that, and it does say that there is some fertilizers that you can use, but you have to be really, really careful because some of them are worse than salt
Oh, wow.
on concrete. That's
Okay.
what I was just reading here.
I think it was triple 13 that I spilled on it, but
Oh, dear.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it on purpose anyway.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, David.
Good information, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there, Mark, you're reading there, is there a certain thing they say to watch for in
Well,
that you shouldn't use?
It says the safest is a urea, UREA, 4600, to use as ice melt, and it does not damage concrete. And that's what a lot of the airports, it says, uses on their runways.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's, and then another common fertilizer uses ice melt is ammonium sulfate. So they said just really be careful on what you do use and use it sparingly. But the urea is the safest.
So if it says that it contains UREA,
Yeah,
then it's probably okay to
Yep.
use that one. Okay. Interesting.
that's what it says.
Okay, well, we learned something new today.
Of course, you remember that commercial that's on about the girl who believes everything? It's on the internet, so it has to be true.
It has to be true. Yeah, well,
Bonjour.
okay. Yeah, that's true. But that's interesting. I
Yeah, it
didn't
is.
realize that fertilizer would scar it. So
Yeah.
concrete is an interesting material,
It
that's
is.
for sure.
It is very interesting. Before we get much farther, just in case somebody does have a call for JP, we need to give our numbers
We
out.
do need to give our numbers out.
Yes, 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. If you're a Verizon phone customer, star 56, or you can send us a text at 417-838-3192.
That's right. We'll read your question on the air,
Yes,
and then
we will.
everyone will get the answer.
That's right.
So don't be shy. Give us a call today.
That's
if you have
true.
a question, the best time to get your questions answered is when we have the expert in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the expert here today with Atlas Security. So if you have a security question or concern, please give us a call. We'll be happy
That's
to help you
right.
out
Be
with that.
more than
So,
happy.
Absolutely.
So, we were talking before we went on the air, and you were saying that, talking about the systems that you sold in the last year, you can spend little or nothing, a couple $100, or you can spend thousands of dollars on home security. But it's taking care of that customer, their comfort level. That's the main thing.
Yes. People come to Atlas because they're wanting peace of mind.
Right.
Okay, and so when I go into a home, I sit down, I ask the people some questions. Basically, are you more concerned about when you're home or when you're away? Are you more concerned about someone that you know or someone that you don't know? Do you have pets? A custom design system is based around the customer, what their needs are, and what system is going to work best for their applications. I find that my job is to find whatever that comfort level is, and everyone has a different one, of what brings that peace of mind. And my job is to meet that. My job is not to raise it or lower it, but to meet that, to give the customer the peace of mind. That's why they called us in the first place. As far as I'm concerned, the focus should be on the customer. And if you do right by the customer, then let the chips fall where they may for everything else. But it's all about the customer.
That's true, and everyone does have a different comfort
Yeah,
level.
they do.
You know, some people are, and maybe it depends on where you live too. You know, depending on what kind of activity you have going on where you live. Actually, to be real honest with you, I lived in town for just a little bit this last winter. I'm a lot more comfortable at the lake, at my home at the lake, than I was living in town. There were just a lot. It was just too busy
Yeah.
at night, and there was
Sure.
people around, and just all kinds of stuff going on, and so my comfort level in town wasn't the same as it is at the lake.
Right.
So what you say makes sense to me. Everyone's comfort level is going to be different depending on their situation, and so you need to address that. Otherwise, if you don't meet that, then you haven't accomplished the goal of making that customer feel safe in their home.
That is correct.
So I think that's a good point to note, that everyone's going to be different. So you have to adjust to what everyone wants or needs from you guys.
Yes.
And when someone calls you, let's say someone is listening to the show and went, "Oh wow, you know, I hadn't thought about that. We've talked about getting a secure system. We just haven't done it." And they want to give you a call. What kind of time frame are they looking at from the time that you can get out there, visit with them, and have something installed? Is it too late to get something installed like next week? Is that too quick?
That would depend entirely on the size of the system.
Okay.
Okay, there are smaller jobs that we have kits that are designed for a smaller house. A keypad, a control panel, 3-door contacts, and we kind of build from that.
I see. Okay.
And that's a wireless installation, and it doesn't take very much time. But there are other jobs that would require quite a bit more time, and it depends a lot on the difficulty of the system.
I see. Okay. We have some more callers on the line today. We have Albert from Republic. Good morning, Albert.
Hello. My question is now, at the moment, I can't afford a whole system for my house, which I do indeed need. But until then, would you suggest a good idea is, I have a dog, having signage for, a dog here, and I am an NRA member too, by the way, and thinking of an emblem there on my post out on the yard. And does that deter crooks possibly?
Yes, it does. Remember, it's all about layers of protection. So from the street, you want to make sure that your address can be seen readily in case emergency vehicles are called. Then inside that, any type of signage that you can have that says that beware of dog. You want to make your home unfriendly to the unfriendly people. And then once we get to the house, then you want to make sure that your house is as secure as you can make it. You can have a very expensive metal door, but if it's only held into the door frame with a couple of screws, that's not going to help very much. So it's all about layers of protection, but you are
Great,
correct.
thank
The
you.
signs are a big help.
I'm going to do that. Thanks.
You bet.
Thanks for calling,
Yes.
Albert. And then we also have Ruth holding on the line. Ruth is from here in Springfield. So good morning, Ruth.
Good morning. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I'm quite elderly, and during these ice storms, my gutters, of course, we have lots of big trees, and they get all filled with leaves and other things. And I just cannot figure out how to keep the ice from forming in my gutters. I remember I notice also that anything around is dark brown or black. If the sun, that always melts first. Would it be advantage to your advantage to have your guttering a dark color like I wouldn't think black, but there are other colors that would also attract the heat and make it melt. Also, I have bought and had on houses heat tape, and you put that around your guttering, and that melts the ice. But I don't see that anywhere here. Do they not use that anymore?
Heat tape?
There is some places that still offer a heat cable that is specifically made for your gutters. You can still find it. I would start myself with probably calling somebody like maybe Bolivar Insulation that installs gutters. And another thing, I don't know that the color of your gutter is really going to help, but they make some really nice gutter guard that can be put on that keeps the leaves and debris out of the gutter, but lets the water flow right in and will wash the leaves right on over. That would be something that I would consider. You're still probably going to get some ice in your guttering, when we have these freezes like we have, but it will definitely help. And then ask them about the heat cable for guttering, because I even know there's a lot of commercial businesses still use that and stuff.
Well, my neighbor has that kind of guttering that leaves or things don't get in it, but we had lots of snow, and it was right next door, and I looked at it every day out my kitchen window, and actually, icicles formed, and it took much longer for that snow to melt. Matter of fact, it just last night all disappeared. I remember when I told you I'm very old, and people made their own gutters. They would take a plank like maybe 10 foot long or a long plank and put them together, and they'd make a V shape, and then they'd hang that from the roof around, not near the roof, but down a little bit, and that worked great because many of those days, and I'm really old, they had a cistern that they saved all that. Yeah, and that was a good system. Because you didn't have the problem of them stopping up. And of course, when it got to went in the system, you had to keep that cleaned out. But other than that, that was a good system because it was just a V, and they had it wasn't hard to hang, I guess, because anyway, it wouldn't look very nice today, and the beautiful homes we have today.
Oh, yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
So I also want to ask about the safety. So many people, especially in my family, seem like they've all bought those big safes. And that worries me. I noticed that my bank, I have a couple of deposit boxes in banks, and in the fine writing on your contract, they do not cover anything that you have in your box.
Correct.
So you're not really covered if you want to sue the bank, because they don't. That's not their responsibility. I think that's something that person should think about. But many of these people that have these big safes have put their ammunition and guns in them. I don't know. That sort of worries me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have a gun, I want it right behind my door.
I don't blame you at
Good
all,
for you,
Ruth.
Ruth.
That's right.
Behind my front door.
Yeah, there you go. Ruth, we appreciate your call. We've got to take a little break here.
Okay,
But thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be right back with more home repairs and solutions right after this. Now, if you've got a problem and you don't know what to do, your siding's going bad and you're plagued with green mildew. Well, your faucets, they all drip and your sinks are all clogged up too. Well, there's no need to worry. I'll tell you what you can do. Just call Home Repairs and Solutions. Home Repairs and Solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. Flooding could be a problem through tomorrow evening for parts of the Ozarks. A flood watch is in effect beginning this evening and running through tomorrow evening. It generally affects an area to the south and east of I-44. An Ava man is now charged with 4 felonies in connection with a shooting and carjacking. 34-year-old James Porterfield is accused of shooting a woman at the entrance to her driveway in rural Wasola, then stealing her SUV. The woman is in satisfactory condition at a Springfield hospital. The SUV was found abandoned at a convenience store in Ava. And a man already facing first-degree murder charges now faces additional charges stemming from a robbery. Marlo Hodges is accused of shooting and killing James Davis on East Brower last December. Hodges also faces burglary, assault, and armed criminal action charges for allegedly beating and robbing a man on South Fremont in May of 2011. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
And join us for America's First News, Monday through Saturday at 6:05 a.m. on the Wall Street Journal this morning on AM 560 KWTO.
Hi, this is Todd Edwards with Lloyd's Cleaners presenting the 5 Days of Christmas. Each day this week, Lloyd's will donate 15% of your bill to charity. Friday's charity is I Pour Life. When you pour life into others, your world and their world becomes a better place.
If you're ready for something different, take a step back in time in historic downtown Branson. You can get all your Christmas shopping done with over 80 locally owned stores in downtown Branson. You can eat a home-cooked meal, take in a show, and visit a free museum. And while you're Christmas shopping downtown Branson, you can ride the free trolley Sparky. Have a Merry Christmas from historic downtown Branson, where it always feels like coming home.
Hi, I'm Bob Edwards with MoDOT. Join us for Talking Transportation at 10 a.m. each Wednesday. This week, as we celebrate the holidays, we'll look back at the work we accomplished in 2013 and take a peek at what's coming up in 2014. That's Talking Transportation, 10 a.m. Wednesdays. You can hear us on KWTO AM 560, The Talk of the Ozarks. Catch us on the web at radiospringfield.com.
Attention federal employees. Join me, Tracy Mitchell, your host for the Federal Employee Benefits Hour, Monday at 10 a.m. I will be covering all aspects of the federal employee benefits system, including TSP, FEGLI, Survivor Annuity Plan election, and Best Day to Retire. Join me right before the Rush Limbaugh Show, Monday at 10 a.m.
A flood watch is in effect from this evening through tomorrow evening. Turning colder for the morning with a passing shower, otherwise it will be a mostly cloudy day today. An early high in the 50s, then temperatures falling into the upper 30s by the afternoon. Periods of rain throughout the night tonight with patches of freezing late night rain, low 33. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder.
It's 46 degrees at AM 560 KWTO.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And welcome to the special Christmas edition of Home Repairs and Solutions, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your authorized Amana dealer. And with if you want to be part of this special Christmas show, please call 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. Or if you're the kind of person that likes to text, here's your number.
417-838-3192. And that'll put you right to us, and we'll read your question on the air.
And hopefully give you an answer.
That's right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We try our best. We try our best.
We do. We do. Hey, we had one of our fine listeners during the break send us a little message about the fertilizer, and brought up a really good point. If you use the fertilizer, be really careful how much you use, because your pets, if you have pets, and they go out and they get that on their feet, that could be very harmful to them.
Yes, it could.
And even fatal. So you want to, and that's with any kind of chemical that you use, whether it's you're using the fertilizer for ice melt or whatever you put on your lawn or your driveway, whatever, be mindful of your pets.
Absolutely. I've noticed that with Tucker. Well, and especially this kind of weather. Now, he doesn't like to have the little doggy boots or anything put on, but I have noticed, like, if you have ice or snow or something out there, whenever he comes back in, he's always licking his paws, because sometimes that ice can like cut their pads on their paws and different things like that. So I'm always real careful with where I walk him and stuff when we have this bad weather. So I do know that when I bring him in, every time he always licks his feet off. So you do need to be real careful about that. So
that's right. Appreciate that. That little message that was sent to us there.
That's right. We have another caller waiting.
Well, let's just talk to Bill here in Springfield. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, how you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Hey, Spring Mountain Air, is that a HVAC company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got a question on if I was wanting to add a gas-fired heater, furnace or whatever, but just more of as a booster system to an existing HVAC system. That's all electric. How is that something that's been done or can be done, or?
So you have all electric system and you want to add a backup gas system? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Just as well, one thing, when electricity goes back during the ice storm where everybody's electricity went out here a few years ago.
Yes.
I was able to hook my when I lived at the old place. We had the gas furnace, and my father-in-law had a gas furnace stuff, and we went over and basically hardwired to the generator,
right?
The furnace, and was able to keep everybody warm while everybody else was, running off of little space heaters and everything else.
Correct.
During that whole deal, and I've come across. I mean, I've got a just a little emergency generator, but it's not a whole house type deal or whatever.
Right.
But running the all electric system heat pump thing pulls way too many amps to be able to do that without compromising other stuff. So I'm just thinking, it does may never use it, but during these situations where we run into problems with outages and stuff like that, I'm just thinking it just wouldn't be a bad backup, and it wouldn't have to be, a big system, but because it's not a great big area, but it still would. I'm just thinking from how big of a deal is that? Put it that way.
Do you have is your outside unit an air conditioner, or it's a heat pump? Correct.
It's a heat pump. So I probably have the gas furnace add-on or whatever shut off. Completely shut off, except during the times that we needed to activate it.
Okay, what we do a lot of times, Bill, is we put in what's called a dual fuel system, and that's where you have a heat pump outside, which is what you do have, and then we put in a gas furnace, which is your backup furnace, because it is cheaper to run the gas furnace than it is the electric for backup. So now, just to keep your all-electric system and then add an additional gas furnace, I'm not sure what that would involve in getting all that hooked into your ductwork and how that would actually work for you.
We've got that exchange box that's at the bottom,
right?
That our ductwork runs through, and then you've got basically the other system that's attached on there. So,
right.
I mean, I know if we were just putting in a whole brand new system, all that stuff would actually be there, and then they just change out that box and everything there. But that also would get into basically we'd be still running off the old. A dual system would still, probably pull more than just the squirrel cage motor that runs on a gas furnace by itself.
Yes, correct.
So, I've considered just buying somebody's old one that they were getting rid of, and then basically doing some type of a add-on to the existing system. But I don't want to get too unsafe. But at the same time, I know it's got to be able to be done. I mean, it's just an add-on to the ductwork, and it'd be running independent of the other system.
The best person to talk to about that, Bill, would be Nathan over at the office, and our number over there is 417-831-4036. He's our technical expert with all that stuff and installing and all that. If there's a way to have that done safely and that would operate properly for you, he would know how to get that done for you, Bill.
Sure, and it's 831 what?
4036.
36 and Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll give him a holler Monday or so, I'm sure.
We'll be in the office on Monday, so, yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you much.
Thank you very much, Bill, for calling.
Bill's got a good point there. When you have, when we have like an ice storm or something, and it sounds like to me he has the electric backup.
He's all electric, yeah.
And, if you try to run that off a generator, you have other things that you need to run too. Some lights, maybe your refrigerator, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It probably would be too much. So a gas backup,
depending on the size of your generator, sure.
Yeah, would be, to me, the best thing to do. And a lot of people don't think about that kind of stuff, so.
See, I'm all electric, and when mine goes out, I'm just out. I have a little fireplace insert I can build a fire in, but yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I have a flashlight and a candle, and that's about it. But
yeah.
Or I could try and come to town if one of my kids have power or something.
Yeah.
But
go sit in the car for a little bit and warm up, then go back in.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good plan either.
No, that's not a good plan either. So the thing that we're talking with JP from Atlas Security. Another thing that I really appreciate about Atlas Security is the fact that they're a local business, and we support local business.
We do. It's always better to do business with people that are local, that are in your community, that live in your community. The money you spend with them is going to stay in the community. And I have found that typically, I have never found a local business where I did not get good service.
Right.
When you're a small business owner, service is a big item because you don't have, you're not a big franchise. You're not strung all over the country. So you really need to make that customer happy, provide good service. Just like JP was talking about earlier, he meets that customer's comfort level, whatever that is for that for that customer, and that is so important to do. And I'm like Mark. That's one of the reasons why we like to have you guys on, because you're local and you provide a great service for the people here in our community, and your expertise is really in the residential area.
That is correct. One of the things about Atlas that makes it a great place for me to work is the fact that, as you said, it is local. It's the largest family-run security company in probably the Midwest region. And we don't just, all the employees that install are Atlas employees. We don't outsource. We don't subcontract. The central monitoring station is right here in Springfield.
Yes, which I think is very important.
Yes, the people here, they know the difference between Kearney Street, and how to pronounce Catalpa.
There you go.
And there's lots of places that you can go, and you're going to be talking to someone in another state or possibly another country at some call center.
Yeah.
Being local is very important to us. Now, that being said, Atlas monitors for over 40 other security companies from coast to coast with our central monitoring station. We do have a nationwide presence, but we do service the Ozarks. And service is very important. We have the highest rating you can get with the Better Business Bureau. We have the highest rating that you can get with Angie's List. And that comes from putting the customer first. If you take care of the customers will all take care of you.
That is correct.
Right.
And another good thing about doing business with someone here locally, I'm a, this will show my age a little bit, but I like to deal with people face to face. I am still, hey, I want to come down to your office. I want to meet you. I want to shake your
Absolutely.
hand. I want a face with the person that I'm talking to. Maybe some of the younger generation, they can just do anything over the internet or smartphones. I don't even own a smartphone. I don't think I'm smart enough to work it probably, but
Mine's smarter than me, that's for sure.
but I still like that personal contact with the people that I'm going to do business with. And for me, that is really important. And, if you, and I'm sure this has happened to everyone, but you'll have an issue come up with something you're doing and you make a phone call. And maybe the person who answers the phone, you don't even know what language they're speaking. You can't even understand them.
Mm-hmm.
That is so frustrating for me. And a lot of times I end up going, I'm sorry, I can't understand you. I have to hang up, redial, hope I get someone that I can understand that speaks English, and go from there. So if you're dealing with someone at the local level, they're in your community, like you said, you know the area, you know the correct pronunciation of the streets, where people are, the best way to get them help. You're not having to have them spell the name of the street or whatever. You already know where it's at. You can get them help much quicker. I just think it's a win-win situation all the way around. If you're looking for home security, go with someone that is local and that is knowledgeable about the area that you live in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I don't want to give the impression that that Atlas is, since we're a family-run operation, that we are a small operation. Atlas is large enough to provide the security for the city of Springfield, the
Right.
city of Branson. We also small enough to take care of the flea market over on Kearney Street. We are about the biggest duck in the puddle all the way around, but we had a head start on everybody. We've been around since 1962. So we take very good care of our customers. They take good care of us. We have very little turnover. And that's of employees and of the customers that we have. We take care of them. And that's, if you want to do the battle on lowest price, you're just arguing who's going to go out of business first.
Sure.
Value is how you build a strong business that's been here for a long time and is going to continue to be here for a long time.
Well, and if you have a security system and you got it at a rock bottom price and that company goes out of business, I don't know. Are they going to call you and say, oh, by the way, we're out of business now. Your alarm system's not any good? Probably not. They're just going to shut the door, and you're going to think that you're still covered, and you might not be. So that's just some things that you don't always think about, but it's important to realize that the person that you're doing business with, especially when it comes to home security, and you're going to be gone, or, we have people in our community that go south for the winter. They leave their houses in the wintertime for 2 or 3 months and come back. You want to know that when you're gone for that 2 or 3 months, that whoever has your security at your home is still going to be there when you get back.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to leave and think you're secure and then find out you're not.
There's two things about the snowbirds, the people that go south for the winter. One is with the new technology that we have with smartphones, they can be given as much information about their system as they want while they're away. They can know when an alarm goes off. They can know when the code's been put in. It's push notification. They can have as much of that information as they care to. But one thing that I try to push, and remember, we're trying to take care of the customer and give them peace of mind. So one of the things that when we have these nice people that move to the south for the winter, we need to include a water bug in the basement.
Yes.
Okay, because nothing else is going to tell you that there's been a break in the water. So if you have a water bug, it's a nominal fee to have this water bug down there. And when you think about it, that's got to be one of your worst fears. And a regular alarm system, if it's not addressing water, it's not going to tell anybody that that's happened. And that house could be closed for weeks at a time.
Sure, absolutely. So there's lots of different ways you guys can help people, and like the water bug is one thing that, and I do know that has happened in the past where people leave, come back, they've had a pipe burst, no one was there, and their house is it's thousands and thousands of dollars in damage. So it's good to know that you can provide that as well, not just for someone breaking and entering, but anything that might happen in your home while you're away. So all that's great information, and I'm just looking at our time here, and I can't believe we're about to run out of time.
Wow.
But
yes, we are.
JP, we have not given out your contact information. We need your phone number. Do you have a website? How do people get a hold of you if they need to talk to you about either putting in a new system? Maybe the system they have is old and antiquated. Maybe it's not doing what they want to do. They want to upgrade. What do they need to do to get a hold of you guys?
The easiest way to get a hold of us is our telephone number is 831-2866. My direct extension is 127. People call me all the time, and I'm very happy I'll help them any way, anytime I can. My cell phone number is 417-241-0957, and the best time to get a hold of us is just anytime you call. I'll call you back. I rarely answer my phone because I'm usually visiting with somebody or I'm driving to the next bunch I'm visiting with. But I always call people back, and I always do my best to take care of them. So if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can Google John Paul Jones, Missouri. That'll take you to my LinkedIn page. It's like my bio. So, and I'm proud of it. I love my job, and I'm proud of that too.
You said something that I think is really important, and this is what we do as well. We try to train our service techs to do that, and I do this. When you're with a customer, that customer has your undivided attention. I have seen so many people that their cell phone runs their life, and that's very disconcerting to me because if I'm trying to talk to someone about something and they're constantly checking their phone or responding to an email or something while we're trying to have a conversation, that really is annoying to me. So the fact that you will ignore that phone call while you're with a current client, I think is huge. That shows respect to the client. It shows that you're focused on the client you're dealing with at the time. And that's the kind of attention that I want for me personally. So I'm okay with calling someone and leaving a message, have them call me back, because I would like to know that when I'm spending time with that person, I have their attention. And they're not worried about who's calling or who's beeping or buzzing them or whatever goes on with them smartphones these days. But anyway, I think that is really important that you do that and show that kind of respect to that customer. I think that's huge. It is for me.
I'm in trouble.
Oops.
Mary's going to whoop me. Because I know she sees me over there. I'll get a text every now and then, and I'll answer it. I know now.
Well, but it might be a text for the show, so you get a pass at the show.
It might be. Okay.
So you're okay during the show.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, thank you, Mary.
You get a pass on that, buddy.
That's good. JP, it's been great having you on today. And I'll have to say, even with our construction company, DRC Properties, Atlas is in our houses that we're doing construction on for our protection for our jobs is sitting out there. And Atlas is great. I can't say enough good about them. They've done us great. So
we got a few minutes, but we're about done. But yeah. Did you want to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that every time I leave the office, I tell the girls up front that I'm off to make some people happy and the world a safer place. And where I come from, that's just about a red cape away from being a superhero.
There you go. There you go. Well, we like to have superheroes on the show, so thanks for being with us today, JP.
Thank you very much for having me.
What are you doing this weekend?
Wrapping presents.
All right. Sounds fun.
Trying to get caught up.
There you go. Oh, well, this is Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday morning right here on AM 560 KWTO.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.